Kia ora and welcome to the Advent Drink Along. I'm Luke and today we are drinking a beer from Sprig and Fern. It is a best bitter. It is a perfect beer for a warm Tuesday, slaking your thirst after work. This is a beer that I come back to again and again. It's one of the beers that I try to keep in stock a lot of the time here because it's just it's something I always feel like drinking, a good best bitter, and this in fact is a very good best bitter, a many award-winning best bitter from Sprig and Fern, who have been awarded New Zealand's champion brewery and champion international brewery at I think it was the Melbourne IBAs a couple of years ago, they are a very renowned brewer with great heritage, and whenever I drink their beers, I just always, I always love you can just taste the work and the respect that goes into the beers for a lot of these historic and European styles. So this one, the best bitter, it's a beer they've been brewing for quite a while. It is always excellent. And it's from the brain of an immigrant, a fellow English immigrant like myself. Tracy Banner is one of the most respected brewers in the country. She's been working in breweries for, I think it will be 42 years now or thereabouts. She started a career as a 16-year-old near Liverpool, working in a laboratory, doing samples and tests on the malts that were coming in. And she's worked at a lot of very famous and highly regarded breweries in Britain before moving to New Zealand, where she was working at places like Lion, the Pride. She was the first female head brewer of Spates. She was at Max, where she sort of invented fresh IPAs, fresh hop IPAs rather, using the wet binds straight from the hop gardens and chucking them into beers. So really. Wonderful brewery, and this best bitter is an historic beer style, but still absolutely relevant even today, in the time where everyone's obsessed with huge hops and putting all sorts of weird and wonderful adjuncts and making smoothie beers, that sort of thing. This beer harks back to a different time, where you'd have your bitter and your best bitter and your extra special bitter, and broadly those categorizations were linked to the amount of malts used in a beer and how high the ABV was, and how expensive it was for you to buy in the pub. And historically, the word bitter was interchangeable with pale ale. Generally in English pubs, you would have you'd have bitter, you'd have mild, and maybe a porter or a stout. So your mild would be the lower ABV beer that you sort of around 3%. You can drink loads of it. Then you have your bitters that are a bit fancy, to be honest, and a bit hoppier, and made with these lovely pale malts that you are able to brew beers with after the development of coke and smokeless fuels. So your maltsters could make malts that were not smoky or were not dark, that were much paler, and bigger doses of hopping. So as I say, bitter and pale ale being interchangeable terms historically. Of course, these days they've gone in two quite different directions, which key to which is the colour. A bitter generally leans into the more biscuity and malty, and you've got toffee character, and the hops are pretty much non-existent compared to a modern hoppy pale ale and a new world pale ale, but the hops are absolutely there. But the character you get from the hops is that lovely bitterness, that long bitter finish, again very much subdued compared to the big West Coast IPAs and pale ales that us modern craft drinkers are used to. But this is a hoppy beer, and it's got English hop character, which are which are subdued, more delicate, more balanced. You're getting tastes of, I always say hedgerow. That's sort of what I think of when I drink these lovely bitters and think about hops like East Kent Goldings, hops like Fuggles that I love so much. It's not necessarily your papaya and mango and tropical fruit bowl and white grape. It's an earthiness and herbalness that you get from the hops, which works so nicely with those, lovely rounded brown, toasty, biscuity, toffee sort of malts, and it's got a long bitter finish, and it's quite dry, and it is one of those styles that, as I say, it's a beer that I keep coming back to. If this was the only beer available, which for big parts of history in many parts of the world, there was just one beer available, and you go to the pub and you ask for a beer, and you would not have an array of 20 different taps and all sorts of wonderful things. You would just have one beer, which would be a Pilsner or a dry stout or a bitter. So yeah, if there was only one beer available in the world and it was this style, and in fact this specific beer, I would be a very happy man indeed. I mean, I'd be sad, but maybe if I didn't know that other beer styles existed, and this is what beer was. It's kind of the epitome of just like beautiful, easy drinking, quaffable beer that goes well in all seasons. We're having a bit of a heat wave in Auckland at the moment. I hope it's warm where you are drinking this. I know it's going to be warm in Nelson, where the beer comes from, because it's always sunny there, also I believe. But it's a beer that's just as delicious in the middle of winter, when it's dark outside and you're sitting next to a fireplace. It is definitely a beer for all seasons, for everything, and it's maybe not going to set your taste buds on fire if you're the sort of person that loves ticking things off and being wowed by blue bubblegum beers or the smoothie milkshake type beers. It does not have 500 IBUs in bitterness. It's a beer that's about balance, but it's immaculately put together. It is, it's a fantastic beer, but one that a lot of people do not necessarily get excited about. I think that these more traditional English beer styles, like your mild, beers that people often look past and ignore really. And yeah, there aren't many people brewing these sort of styles in Britain even, to be completely honest. IPAs are sort of prevalent everywhere in the world, but let alone down here in Aotearoa. So yeah, similar to how I was saying a few days ago about a different brewery doing some traditional styles. I'm very grateful that for mosquitoes. I'm very grateful for brewers like Sprig and Fern that are committed to continuing brewing these really fantastic and delicious traditional beers in a way that is very true to style. So anyway, that is it from me. Hope you're enjoying it half as much as I am. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.